The inspiring and heartwarming story of a self-proclaimed good old boy from the middle of nowhere, South Carolina, who became a true American hero. William Kyle Carpenter is born on October 17, 1989. He is a medically retired United States Marine who received the Medal of Honor for what he did in Marja, Afghanistan in 2010. Corporal Carpenter is the youngest living Medal of Honor recipient, which is the United States' highest military honor. Kyle Carpenter's life before he joined the military is founded in a strong family bond, an athletic youth, and a true sense of empathy which he learned from his parents. He describes himself as a good old boy, raised in a very truly loving and supporting home. Carpenter grew up with two loving parents, Jim and Robin, and younger twin brothers named Peyton and Price. He acknowledges the active presence of his parents at every single second of his life. They attended all baseball and football games. They encouraged him to pursue any goal, no matter how unrealistic, guiding him to work hard and to remain a good person. With this foundation, they guided him to be goal-driven and gritty. His parents raised him to accept that life is a product of what you choose to build. This reveals how a good family life behind loving parents and a strong family bond promotes a healthy growth of a young person.
Athletics and drive. Throughout his youth, Carpenter involved himself actively in sports, namely football and baseball. He credits his personal view of himself as having been a short thing or a little guy growing up as fuel to a deep desire to prove himself at a disadvantage. He proved his drive by spending significant time in the weight room, understanding even then that hard work and training translated to success when the lights turned on the football field. He noted that he was always internally trying to get faster, stronger, better, and welcomed challenges that pushed his limits. Formative experiences. Before reaching adulthood, key experiences shaped his perspective, such as his work ethic. He worked at a chicken plant and carefully observed his bosses and coworkers to decide how would conduct himself as a future leader. He learned the positive traits to continue with and the negative approaches that he will avoid. He also went on a mission trip in high school to the Dominican Republic. During the time there, he saw families living in a landfill. He noted that they were still happy and just so thankful with living. This planted a seed of empathy in molding a positive perspective in how others face their challenges and continues on with joy and appreciation with what they have. This made him realize that not everyone lived with the same comforts he had in the Southeast United States. His decision to join the Marines. Kyle Carpenter decided to enlist in the Marines driven by a calling to join the military. He also desired to devote his life to something greater than himself and saw the opportunity with the Marines. According to him, he chose the Marine Corps because he wanted the greatest challenge possible. He wanted a path that would push him beyond his known limits and something that would make him look deep down inside himself and find the strength to take the next step. Additionally, he pointed out that he was scared of regret and feared to miss out on the opportunity to serve while his body and youth is still capable. During boot camp at Parris Island, he served as a squad leader, learning a foundational lesson in accountability. Even a small mistake in a foot drill would cause the entire squad to suffer and lose the step toward progress and completion. Assignments and deployment. He characterizes his life as a Marine as a deliberate search for challenge, a deep immersion in military legacy, and a rigorous, primal existence in one of the most dangerous war zones in the world. In 2010, Carpenter deployed with the 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines, 2-9, to Marja, Afghanistan. The reality of the assignment was immediate and intense. He pointed out that it took 10 days to reach their small patrol base outpost from the United States. On the trip's final leg, a crew chief handed him ammo belts for his squad automatic weapon while warning him they would likely take fire before even landing. He also highlighted their living conditions, that for the 4 months leading up to his injury, he slept on the ground and he was without a shower for the entire duration, which Carpenter called living primitively. This intense situation made him realize that survival was a daily struggle, since supply drops are the only way to deliver water, meals ready to eat, and ammunition to them. Combat was constant, and he noted it was never a question of if they would be shot at, but when they would receive enemy attacks. His squad's mission was to push into enemy strongholds to expand the Marine presence in the South, with the aim to create stability for local folks there. He experienced an eye-opening event during his very first firefight, roughly an hour after stepping outside friendly lines for his first patrol. While laying behind his squad automatic weapon, an enemy bullet ricocheted off a wall and hit him in the lower back where the gap lacked body armor. The space was about 3 inches and the bullet hit him there. He said it felt like a bad paintball hit and it did not take him out of the fight. The experience changed his tactical thinking. He never again laid down during engagements during the deployment, but instead he always shot either from a standing or kneeling position to keep mobility possible. Thinking and philosophy of service. The history and legacy of the Marine Corps influenced Kyle Carpenter's mindset heavily. The stories of superhuman Marines from time past who charged the beaches of Iwo Jima and those who covered grenades in Vietnam sparked inspiration during The Crucible, in the 54-hour culminating event at the end of Marine Corps boot camp, testing the endurance, teamwork, and knowledge through intense simulated combat scenarios for recruits. He concluded with a philosophy that high performance is not truly in the moment, but is a direct correlation to prior preparation. Training yourself to think and act a certain way ensures that when the lights turn on, the right actions become automatic. The Marine uniform represents a collective sacrifice, and a Marine's primary duty is care for the people to their left and right. Just days before the grenade incident, his squad moved into a new compound to leave it better than they found it and push the enemy back further. It was during this assignment, while on a 4-hour roof security shift with his best friend, that the fateful day occurred. In this moment of eerie quiet, Kyle and his buddy Nick were in a rooftop post. They were joking around just to lighten the mood. They were asking what would happen if a grenade landed up there. His friend said, "I will be flying out of here on the roof immediately." Kyle jokes back, "I'm right behind you." It's chilling because just minutes after that conversation, the attack began, and an enemy grenade landed right next to them. What happened next was a blur, and it was pure instinct. All Kyle can remember is the aftermath. He said his vision was like static on a TV with no signal. His ears were ringing like crazy, and then he felt what he thought was warm water being poured all over him, only to have the realization that it was his own blood. This is such a crucial point. It wasn't some calculated decision. Kyle has zero memory of seeing the grenade or even thinking about what to do. It was instinct, an instinct built from his family's values and his Marine Corps training. And 250-page investigation confirmed what he already knew. He moved to cover that grenade and save his friend. So he faded from consciousness on that dusty rooftop and woke up 5 weeks later on the other side of the world at Walter Reed Medical Center. The very first thing he saw were the Christmas stockings that his mother had hung in his hospital room, just hopefully waiting for him to wake up. This illustrates the impossible mountain he had to climb. When he got to the first combat hospital, it was actually marked "Patient expired on a rifle." He had flatlined 3 times. His right arm was broken in over 30 places. He lost his jaw, most of his teeth, vision, and one eye. He even had shrapnel in his brain. His body was shattered, but the real battle was just getting started. Now you might think his lowest point was in the hospital, surrounded by all those injuries, but it wasn't. It came months later when he was home recovering. One night he tried to do something so simple, just making a bowl of cereal, but his hands wouldn't work. The milk jug felt like it weighed 100 pounds, and he couldn't even eat it with milk spilling everywhere. In that moment of frustration and isolation, facing the simple, impossible task, he broke down completely for the very first time. Through his sobs, he asked his mom the most heartbreaking question: "Look at me. Who's ever going to love me again?" And right there, in that moment of total despair, he faced the most important choice of his entire life. He realized that no matter how hard life knocks you down, you always have 2 options. You can stay down, metaphorically sitting at that kitchen counter for the rest of your life, or you can get up and just take one small step forward. He chose to get up, and that single choice to just get up made his absolute lowest point to transform everything. It's what allowed him to later say incredibly that he was grateful for the grenade because of the person his journey forced him to become. So years later, he passed a homeless man on the street. He kept walking, got to his car, and had that familiar feeling we all get sometimes, that little voice telling him to just drive away, that it's easier. But then there was another voice, the one he chose to listen to on the kitchen counter, and it told him to turn around. So he did. He went back and he just talked to the man. His own journey hasn't just healed his body, but it's strengthened his empathy. And he realized that empathy is just like a muscle. Every time you choose to listen to that voice telling you to help, to connect, you're making it stronger. This became his guiding principle for his recovery and for his life. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to see the entire staircase. You just need the courage to take the next small step. Most productivity advice focuses on hacks or apps, but the most profound lessons in human performance and daily improvement often come from the extremes of the human experience. The story of Kyle Carpenter, who survived a catastrophic grenade blast in Afghanistan, provides a blueprint for personal growth that transcends simple time management. Here is how we can apply the lessons of a Medal of Honor recipient to a daily quest for improvement and productivity. 1. Master the small step philosophy. Productivity often stalls because we are overwhelmed by the grand journey or a daunting, impossible task. When Kyle Carpenter was at his lowest point, struggling to even eat a bowl of cereal due to his injuries, he realized he had 2 options: stay down at that kitchen counter or take a small step forward. The lesson: you do not need a perfect plan to be productive. If you are paralyzed by a project, cut out the noise and focus only on the next hour or the next immediate task. As Kyle notes, the smallest of steps eventually completes the grandest of journeys. 2. Understand that in the moment is a myth. We often wait for inspiration or the right moment to perform, but Kyle's actions on that rooftop were the result of years of prior preparation. He argues that very few things in life are strictly in the moment. Instead, they are the result of steps of preparation beforehand. The lesson: your productivity today is a direct correlation to how you trained yesterday. Whether it is your grades in the classroom or your performance under pressure, you are a product of what you choose to build during the quiet hours. Training yourself to be a certain way ensures that when the lights turn on, your performance is automatic. 3. Recognize the squad effect of your mistakes. In the Marine Corps, Kyle learned that even a simple foot drill movement performed incorrectly by a leader causes the entire squad to suffer and get off step. The lesson: productivity is rarely solitary. Realize that even the smallest of things you do, or fail to do, impacts everyone around you. High-level daily improvement requires an awareness that your efficiency, or lack thereof, creates a ripple effect on your team's collective success.
4. Choose your lenses deliberately. Kyle refers to his life after the grenade as a bonus round, viewing his 40-plus surgeries and permanent injuries not as a tragedy, but as a source of insight and perspective. He believes that every experience, every person, every interaction is an opportunity to learn something, even the bad things. The lesson: you must choose the lenses you look through. If you view challenges as grenades that destroy your day, you will remain bitter and unfulfilled. However, if you view every obstacle as a way to become a better, stronger person, you can reclaim your time and energy from negative and detrimental thoughts. 5. Avoid the comparison trap. One of the greatest drains on mental productivity is the dangerous habit of comparing your struggles or progress to others. Kyle emphasizes that struggle is the last thing we ever compare, as it leads to an unhealthy mindset. The lesson: focus on your own unique struggle and heal or grow in your own time. Comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 only leads to frustration. True daily improvement comes from trying to become the best version of yourself, not a second-rate version of someone else. 6. Simplify with a daily mantra. In the face of total uncertainty during his recovery, Kyle developed a daily mantra to keep him moving. Work hard, do the right thing, be a good person, and help people. The lesson: when your to-do list is chaotic, return to the basics. If you focus on working hard and doing the next thing that day, you can't go wrong. Productivity is not about complexity. It is about the simple art of consistent, honorable effort. By adopting these principles, you aren't just managing a schedule. You are building a life worth fighting for. So what does this incredible story mean for us, for our lives? How can we build a life that's worth fighting for? Well, Kyle basically distilled everything he learned into a simple daily practice that really anyone can follow. It's a daily commitment. This is the art of being a good person. It's not about one grand gesture. It's about the character you build, one small choice at a time. Kyle's story shows us that heroism isn't just for a battlefield. It's for anyone, anywhere, who after getting knocked down, makes the choice to get up and take that one small step forward. It's in the daily practice of just trying to be good. And that is a life worth fighting for.